Welcome to the
John.
Five Stack. My name is
Hey,
Dean, world traveler. That is my friend Zev Shalev. Hi, Diana. Hi, Sabrina. Hi, Donna. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Danielle. Hi, Diane. Hi, Michael. Hi, Marin. Hi, Susan. Hi, Everett. Hi, Elisa. I'm going to do this. I could probably do this for an hour, actually. Hi, Maureen. Hi, Lynn. Hi, Nope. Hi, Teddy's mom. Hi. Come on in. The water's fine. We got lots to get to today. May have a special guest. Our boy Lev Parnas might drop by because Zeb has a few questions. You can find everything Zeb does, and nobody does what Zeb does, connects dots through the decades to give you context over what we witnessed today, over the fraught in Ukraine, over the election rigging, which is going on right now. Today was a nuclear day, my friend. How are you today?
I am good. It's good to see you. You've been on the go. I've seen you
Yeah.
in planes and trains and on the car. You name it. You've been everywhere, and it's good to see you back
Yeah.
home at your studio location, and ready to hunker down for a whole week here of shows.
Oh no, I'm done. Like this was vacation season, SZN, and this summer has been a whirlwind, and it culminated with my eldest getting engaged this weekend.
Wow,
So
congratulations! I'm
yeah,
going to bring that up, but that's
yeah,
exciting for you,
yeah. I
obviously.
guess so. I mean, it's one of those Rubicons you cross where you're like fucking old, like it's one
Yeah,
of
I
those
mean, there's
things, and then
that.
kids, and then grandparents, and all that other stuff. So yeah, I mean, I've entered into the golden age for all the grandparents that are out there and everybody that has kids that are getting engaged. This is what you came for. This is why you
You'll
have
be a
kids.
grandfather soon.
Easy,
Gramps.
easy, easy. I still can't take care of myself. Never mind a grandchild. I got to be
So you have
honest. I don't even know how my
grandchildren.
kids made it. To be honest with you, I mean,
Well, it's your kids seem great. I haven't met them all, but I've met some of them on camera here, and they seem like very nice people. They seem like you've
oh,
done a
they're
good job there.
perfect kids. I'm really fortunate. I got three boys, 25, 22, 19. Just a quick aside before we get to the mayhem of the day. The greatest gift, I get emotional thinking about it. The greatest gift are my children, my sons. I've got three sons. Like I said, they're all adults. They're all just and what's amazing is, despite their dad's best effort to sabotage it, they turned into wonderful human beings. I don't deserve them. I'm grateful for them, and my eldest is gonna go on his journey very soon. So thank you. I appreciate that.
That is amazing, and you've done a great job, obviously, because you just have. They're great kids. Let's do this five stack. So there's so much going on. We have to begin with, even though it's not the number five story, it should really be the number one story. Actually, you're going to talk about Air Canada, but we'll do that in a bit. The five story that should be the number one story is really all about what's going on in the White House right now. So the European leaders are there. Zelensky's there. And what we're seeing is really nothing more than a capitulation by the White House. It seems like Donald Trump is basically forcing Ukraine into surrendering. I mean, there's no way to read it differently. The idea of a ceasefire, that sort of disappeared over the weekend after that disastrous Putin summit. And so what we're left with is, here's the president of the United States sitting next to Vladimir Zelensky, discussing security guarantees, and in that conversation about security guarantees is the implication that they are actually going to have to give up land, because they only need security guarantees if they give up land. And the land that they're talking about is extraordinary. It's not even land that they've captured. It's just land they'd like to have. As you point out on deanblundell.substack.com today, there is a request for a lot of land by the Russians that, maybe the Ukrainians will capitulate and give in this land if they have the security guarantees. That is sort of the underlying weirdness of this so-called summit, or whatever you want to call it today,
Yeah.
which really has everyone who cares about democracy, who cares about America's place in the world, worried, because where is America going if it can't emphasize its moral authority and positioning in terms of supporting a country like Ukraine?
Did you watch today's White
Yeah,
House availability with Zelensky? Did you
yeah,
watch
I
that?
did. I carried it
So
live here on
we
Narrative, actually.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, we carried it. 11, I do a weekend roundup, and I was on the road today heading back from the cottage, and so stopped for a solid hour, and we caught the presser live, carried it live, laughed at it, talked about it. Um, there's two different versions of Donald Trump that everybody needs to be aware of. There's that version, which is, talk tough, look tough, don't admit to anything, strategic ambiguity, which you heard a lot of. Maybe there'll be forces in Ukraine, maybe they won't. Maybe we'll have boots on the ground, maybe we won't. Maybe someone's going to give up land, maybe they won't. The other part of Donald Trump that not a lot of people see, is the taco version of Donald Trump, who gets incredibly caustic and shitty if he doesn't get what he wants, right? You've seen him do that in public. It's much worse in private, according to his aides. Talk to Lev, talk to anybody who's ever done business with him or had anything to do with him. He leans on people. And so ahead of today's presser, everything was kind of decided. And give full credit. Everybody go subscribe to Lev Parnas right now. Lev told me ahead of today's presser. This was yesterday. We had a conversation this morning, and then we did the Substack Live today. Everybody can go get it, watch it. He nailed it. Every single thing that Donald Trump was going to do, and what he did behind the scenes was far worse than the dementia show, the sexy indifference, if he likes to call it that. The sexy indifference of not committing to do anything. And what happened behind the scenes was this, and it was very interesting. He effectively told Vladimir Zelensky that he has to give up all of Donbas. He's got to let Crimea go. Blamed it on Obama, blamed it on Biden, kept calling it Biden's war in public, did the same thing in private. And then he tried to bribe Zelensky. And because this is what Donald Trump understands. This is the world he's from, right? He's a mobster. He's a gangster. He's just a shitty money laundering asshole who likes to tantalize people with a little bit of money, a little bit of fame. And so he basically said, hey, listen, if I'm to read the tea leaves properly, you're going to give up Crimea. You're going to give up Donbas. By the way, Russia only occupies 70% of Donbas. The other 30%, Donald Trump just wants him to gift to Vladimir Putin. You're going to give that up, all of it. We'll give you security guarantees. No full ambiguity as to what the guarantees are. And in exchange, Vladimir Putin is going to put arms down. He's going to draw the line. And dude, he's broken the ceasefire 20 times since 2014. 20 times. So you know he's not going to do that. So fool's gold. He's going to stop on those lines. And Vladimir Zelensky, what I'm going to do to you, this is what Donald Trump said. What I'm going to do to you is I'm going to bring you to Hollywood. And you're going to make a bunch of movies. And you're going to be rich and famous. That was the deal. That was not in the press conference, behind closed doors, according to sources.
He's going to make
he's
kind of
here,
rich and
just
famous, isn't he?
Well, yeah, not kind of, yeah. But he also said to him, he's like, just like Obama, you can have your own production company. You can do things for Netflix, and you're going to come here. And if you do that, if you just quit and call an election, by the way, call an election, have someone else replace you, Putin's puppet. Call an election, you split, come to the United States, we'll protect you in the United States. And here's the great part. This is the great part. You're going to be great. Here's the great part. We won't prosecute you for war crimes and embezzlement and bribery. That's the offer Donald Trump made, allegedly, to Zelensky behind closed doors with no EU leaders present. Then they met with the EU leaders. But literally, that's exactly what Lev called 4 days ago when we were talking about it on Friday. Talked to him yesterday.
Be clear here, because this is not actually firmly reported by anybody. This is Lev's inside sources, right?
Correct.
Okay. Just making sure.
Yeah. Said he wanted to, because you know what Donald Trump likes to do? He likes to feed into these bullshit conspiracy narratives, uses them for leverage. And he's like, pretty sure you embezzled money. Because that was the thing, right? That's what Don Jr. kept talking about. That's what QAnon kept talking about, was that Zelensky was taking all that international aid and divvying it up with all of his Ukrainian oligarchs. That never happened. So Zelensky basically told him to go pound salt. No deal. Donald Trump then had a meeting where he took pictures with everybody, and he looked very, very angry. Very angry, because he ran into a president of Ukraine with fucking morals, who's in it to win it for his country, not himself. You can't enrich Volodymyr Zelensky the way you can enrich a Trump regime asshole like Kristi Noem or Scott Bessent, Marco Rubio, and he's like, yeah, no, that's a giant no. That's a giant no.
I mean, could this really have been this can't have been the conversation, because why would he even think that Zelensky would want a Hollywood career or the Netflix deal or anything like that? He could probably get that anyhow, because he's Vladimir Zelensky is one of the world's most famous people. Why is Donald Trump sanctioning that, or even suggesting that is a possibility, going to stop him from wanting to keep his country? I mean, this.
But this is all he understands, right? It's the same reason why every money laundering operation he has around the world comes with a hotel. because it's a great place to rinse money, or a hotel and a casino because it's a great place to rinse money. It's the same reason. Like, this guy is so formulaic, and he is such a shit, and he is so corrupt. He thinks what works with him
He's going to
will
work with
work with
everybody.
yes. And
Come now.
I mean, it's the craziest shit ever. It's honest to God. And I've heard it from more than one person.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, conversations that I've had, it fits. Everything that Lev said has kind of come to fruition, from what happened in Russia, in Alaska, pardon me, or, the new Russia, what happened in Alaska, to what happened at this presser today, where he said that Trump was going to bring up, which he did, which we'll get to as the number one story. It's a huge story. He's going to end mail-in voting. Night before, he's on with Hannity. He tells Hannity, "You listen, hey, listen, I was talking to Putin. Putin's the best, smartest guy in the world. So smart. And he said, I know you won the election. It was rigged. You were unfairly treated. You were victimized. And you know why you lost? Mail-in voting. So get rid of mail-in voting." So what is he doing today? Executive
This
order
is
to
why I
get
wanted
rid of
Lev to
mail-in
come on,
voting.
because I have some questions about all of this. Because you know, I believe that that's exactly what Putin told Trump. That's clearly what he said. The question is, are you basically just living through a Putin narrative wish list, basically, which he's putting out there, and how do we separate that from what is really going on, which is the real negotiations between the European leaders, Zelensky and Trump, because that still is another whole other level of stuff that's happening. Now, what I saw today was a real capitulation by Donald Trump. I mean, at the end of the day, this idea that they would jump over the ceasefire negotiations and jump directly into security guarantees is quite remarkable. I mean, when you think about the fact that there is not going to be a ceasefire, that they just want to have a deal on the table, and they're going to take Vladimir Putin's word that he's going to stick to this thing. When we know in the past, in the Budapest memorandum and in other events, he's not stuck to any of these agreements. He hasn't even stuck to any of the ceasefires he himself has called in the last few months. So there's security guarantees with a guy who isn't known for keeping his end of the security guarantees, that they're going to sit around and discuss as a possibility here. And Zelensky seems absolutely willing to have this conversation, which on its face is kind of ludicrous, because the Ukrainian constitution doesn't allow it. It's not up to Zelensky himself to decide whether there will be any land swaps for peace. That's got to come from the Ukrainian parliament. So there's got to be, the fact that they're actually having this sort of civil discourse is bizarre to me, because it's either the West is just giving up and saying, okay, we'll do the appeasement route because we have nothing else. We're out of anything else. We're just going to go appeasement, which is fine. Or they're playing Trump a little bit. Or they're waiting to say, okay, Trump, we'll give in everything you want. We'll give you all the security guarantees. We'll give him the land. Give him all that land. We'll support that. We'll be in there with our security guarantees. You'll be in there with yours. Go take that to Vladimir Putin. And let's see if he's going to sit down with you in a trilateral, because I don't think he's going to sit down with them in a trilateral, no matter what happens.
Never.
So this is really calling the bluff of Putin's and Trump's presser, or his summit in Alaska on Friday, which was designed to put everything on America and on Ukraine. It was designed to make the next move Zelensky and Trump's. So what are they doing? They're bluffing him. They're putting in a whole, let's go for it. Let's do it. Let's do everything you're saying you're going to do. We'll give you the security gear. We will give you the land. I'll give you the land. I don't think that Putin is going to sit down in a conversation with Vladimir Zelensky anytime soon. No matter what tripartite or trilateral agreement they think that Trump thinks he's going to be able to strike, and on the way to getting a Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah, which he said the other day he's not politicking for while politicking for it.
That's what he talks about.
This fucking guy. And then today he was politicking for again, talking about how he ended 6 world wars, including in the Republic of Congo. I don't know if you saw that. I think he mixed up the D with the G. Listen.
I feel like I go through a war in my apartment of Condo, whatever, the country of Condo, every day.
You're in the Republic of Zev. Condo.
Yeah, there's a ceasefire, when the elevators don't work. We're down to 2 elevators in my building. It's like a nightmare. Taking the dog for a walk is like a 10-minute ordeal. So that's my civil war going on.
It's God telling you to take the stairs, fella. It's God
I'm
taking
on
you
the
to tell
51st floor. It's a lot of floors.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Dude, that's great exercise. It'd be good. You'll cramp at floor 26, though.
It'll take me a minute. It'll take me a minute to get back up here for sure. Idiot.
Back to the Trump stuff.
Yeah.
You're right. They're calling his bluff. They're like, yeah, we'll entertain it. I don't know if you saw after the Great Alaska debacle, which by the way was a fucking debacle, where Putin just ran Trump over, or Putin's body double just ran Trump right over.
What is this body double thing? I got to get to the bottom of this. Lev, give us a
Oh,
call.
I know,
what
dude. The guys in Ukraine, like intel guys in Ukraine, they're like, there's like 5 of them. There's 5
So there's
body
5
doubles.
Putins? 5 Putins.
Yeah.
But we don't know which one's the real Putin, or there is a real Putin amongst them.
There is a
They
real
all
Putin,
share
but apparently
Putin.
he's hiding like in a bunker, and he hasn't left since COVID because he's petrified. He's like super scared of ever getting sick. And so what happens is like they'll send the body double somewhere where the real Putin will go meet the body double at the airport, and then the real Putin will walk out, apparently. And this body double was so out of character. Like, I don't know if you watched part of the Alaska thing. We'll get to the original question
We
and
saw
the
that
conversation.
live. Yeah.
And Putin was like yelling at the crowd and joking around and making faces. That ain't him, dude. And
That's
that
not
much
him?
I know. Well,
So 2 Putins there, or only one
sure
Putin?
didn't look like him. Wasn't acting like him.
Or did they send one
know.
Putin to Alaska and leave the other one back home?
I don't know which Putin. Yeah, and then they get in the airport, get back to Moscow, and then the real Putin gets. I don't know, dude. It's so fucking weird. It's the craziest story. Like Alexander Bolbir from Voice of Ukraine, Ukrainian intelligence. I've seen Russian intelligence guys who defected. Going, there's like 5 of them. It's unbelievable. He's like, because it's what you don't understand is that Russia, like the United States of America, isn't run by a guy, right? It is, but it isn't. It's run by the interests that are behind the guy. So in Russia's case, it's KGB, FSB. In the United States, it's, the richest fuckers in the world. Like, it's just all the rich dudes and their foundations, FBI, CIA. I mean, like, Donald Trump is a symptom, much like, like Vladimir Putin's a symptom. Like, that's something that not a lot of people understand. Now, I can't speak to the body double stuff. But I can tell you that, in the interests of the people who really run Russia, which it's all FSB, KGB, that it makes a lot of fucking sense, right? Like, it makes a ton of sense that there's more than one Putin.
I mean, I'm sure there's doubles.
If you,
but you say the double to this
pictures,
historic thing? Like, this is a historic event.
I don't know, dude.
He's
It might be.
America. He's like, Jesus
wrong,
arriving in the land that he's conquered, and what? Well, Caesar arriving in the land that he's conquered, and he's not actually him. It's Caesar light.
Lev was great. He's like, that guy did such a shitty job being Putin. He probably fell out of a window when he got back. Like,
yeah, he did a bit. I mean, this guy obviously was very energetic. I couldn't believe the guy when he was like running down the staircase and like doing a dance at the bottom,
talking back to the crowd. He's like, what? From the front. Well, let's hear it for Putin. What? Like, it was crazy to watch. It was. It was like, can I get a yet? Like, that's what you saw.
We should get that for Trump. But Trump has. Do you think Trump has doubles?
Hard to find a body type to body double that guy. Plus, he's such a narcissistic asshole. He's like, he wants to be in every shot, every conversation. Yeah. Which, let's go back to the original question: giving up land and calling a bluff. If you watched after the Alaska debacle, all the world leaders who were begging for a ceasefire, from Mark Carney to Ursula von der Leyen to Mark Rutte to Olaf Merz, is it Merz? No, Friedrich Merz from Germany. Like every EU leader, UK leader, they're like, ceasefire now. Ceasefire now. Donald Trump put everybody on the ceasefire now. Ceasefire now. So after that was abandoned immediately, after Alaska, all these world leaders who know that Donald Trump can force Putin's hand any day he wants, any second he wants, and say, stop it or I'm going to fuck you up. They all applauded Donald Trump for making his best effort to attain peace.
Yeah.
Like every single one of them. And every part of this, when it comes to all these world leaders who you look at and you're like, you just capitulated to Donald Trump. He's not trying to, he's not looking for world peace. All of those people are playing the same game. Way to go, Don. Great job, Don. Sure, you want to talk about everlasting peace? Let's talk about everlasting peace. Because they know he's never going to get to it. They know he's never going to commit to anything. They know ambiguity is a strategy when it comes to Donald Trump. And they know that he absolutely worships dictators and Putin. So everybody, just imagine this. Look at me. Just imagine I'm Mark Carney. Well done, Donald. Yes, you've done a really, really great job. Way to go! Can't wait to see what happens because to a world leader after Alaska, everybody from Mark Carney to the fucking Prime Minister of Australia called Zelensky and said, "It's still on. It's still go time, dude.
Yeah.
You keep preparing, keep fighting.
Yeah.
We are 100% behind you, no matter what." And when you give those messages, if you pay attention to the tea leaves, folks, and you should, when you give those messages, or Macron puts out a note going unequivocally, we're behind Ukraine. Doesn't matter. We need to stop the threat. Finland, Sweden, Poland, Donald Tusk, every single world leader involved in that meeting today has said in no uncertain terms, over and over and over again, will there be a peace deal where force is used, which is currently being used, to alter the borders between Ukraine and Russia. Ain't going to happen. Zelensky
Yeah.
said it again today. Ain't going to happen. So, yes, to your point, they're calling his bluff and they're just playing with him at this point.
I think Macron did
Seeing if
come out
he's
today and say
serious.
that, that Trump is really looking for Ukraine's surrender. But that is not what Zelensky said, at least in the press conference. He did not say, this looks like you're asking me to surrender. It looks like, hey, let's talk about guarantees. Did you also see the choreography today at the press conference where there was like Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend, who actually referenced the fact that he's, whatever his name is, he had the first 7 questions to Donald Trump. I mean, they've now got a Russian disinformation guy who's leading questions at press conferences so other people don't ask bad questions or difficult questions to Donald Trump. I mean, it's stunning.
Dude, and did you see the part where he's like, nice to see you put on a suit for today, or you found a suit?
Well, I mean,
and Zelensky's like, yes, however, you're still wearing the same one from the last time I was here, you cheap fucking hillbilly. I just thought that
very good.
great.
Very good retorts. I love
it was
that.
awesome. Yeah,
and Zelensky looked sharp. Looked like he was ready, preparing for a funeral as well, which is...
he looked... Well, he might be. I mean, he's between a rock and a hard place. So, I did notice that. I noticed Peter Doocy's loaded questions from Fox News, and Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend, who referenced her, MGT.
Yeah.
Marjorie, MTG. It's the MT... Down with me, you're down with MTG. Like, it's just fucking bizarre. All of that is choreographed. Like, everybody today did their job. Every single reporter. That is a loaded press pool. The only people allowed in there, I mean, token CNN and a couple of other outlets that he says he hates. But that is always driven. Those availabilities are always driven by Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend. And here's the great part. He's not even a fucking journalist. Like, he's just some dude who's in politics. He's just a
peddler. I don't know, like conspiracy theorist, basically. Like he's there to push agenda.
That's exactly what he is. Yeah. Yep.
It blew me away. One final note about today is that now, of course, Trump is going to have to give Vladimir Putin a call to say, hey, I think they're going to give in on these security guarantees, dude. Let's set up the trilateral. And Putin's going to say what to Trump? I mean, he's going to say, screw you, obviously. And so the American president, who's tried to be a world leader, tried to win the Nobel Peace Prize for so many times, ain't going to win it this time either. It seems to be that there'll be another scratch at best, if not a complete disaster. I mean, look back at his record.
Well, and listen, Putin is deathly afraid of Zelensky. Like, you put a man with substance next to a man with none. Yeah. That's why Trump wilts every time you put him in a room with guys like Mark Carney. He's like, okay, Mark, you're the best. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're so smart. You're so great. But no, that meeting will never happen. And I laughed every time Trump talked about a trilat. He's like, I'm gonna cool trilateral up. I'm gonna make it cool.
He learns a new word.
We might have a trilat. We might not have a trilat, but we're looking forward to a trilat. I'm pretty sure he forgot it was trilateral. Like, I'm almost 100% sure. I think someone was like, it's trilateral. And he's like, trilateral.
It could be. The other thing, there was 8 pages, this is story number 4, 8 pages of classified State Department documents about Trump's Putin summit were discovered in a public hotel printer in Anchorage Friday.
4-star hotel, by the way, not even a 5-star.
Yeah, this is just hours after the meeting ended. The papers included exact meeting locations at Joint Base Ulmerdorf-Richardson, phone numbers of U.S. government employees, and even revealed Trump's ceremonial gift to Putin. an American bald eagle desk statue, which of course he would not put anywhere near his desk. The documents also detailed a cancelled 3-course luncheon, which included filet mignon and creme brulee, complete with seating arrangements for cabinet members. Security breach? Maybe it's a little bit of a security breach, but not really. It's just like bad planning, I guess, by
Well, it's
these
just like,
guys.
again, I mean, like you hire, you hire monkeys, you get a circus, right? Like,
True.
it's just that's kind of the issue with Donald Trump is he's surrounded himself with absolute total monkeys. And
Do you think anyone got that meal? Do you think the meal was actually made and they were like, someone got to score the filet mignon for lunch?
I don't
or
think it
something?
was. I'm pretty sure it wasn't. Thank you.
They
I'm
just
pretty
did,
sure it wasn't.
There's like a backup only.
Yeah.
Well, okay, let's move on to the next one then. Story number 3 is the Minnesota Vikings just introduced Blaze Sheik, I don't know,
Blaze Sheik, yeah,
and Louis Kahn as the NFL's newest male cheerleaders for 2025. And the culture war crowd is having a full meltdown. Critics are screaming about tradition, while supporters, including former NFL players, are pointing out that men have been part of these cheerleading squads for a long time, decades even. So what's the real issue here, Dean? It's all on your Dean Blundell Substack. Tell us about why there is such a big culture war developing about this guy.
There isn't. There's a culture war that is being engineered about Louis and I can't remember the other guy's name. Louis and Blaze, two men, incredible dancers that are part of the Minnesota Vikings cheer squad. Now, to understand that this is an op, you have to, just think of 2 words: college football. Okay. If you're aware of college football, if you understand college football, if you ever watched college football, you've seen cheer teams. You haven't. I know you haven't.
Yeah.
Don't. Yeah.
I mean, maybe out of the corner of my eye, there's been like a little bit of college football played. I mean, I saw, is that college football? And then I'd be like, I go back to doing what I was doing. So I've never actually seen a college football game, so I can't attest to the
lots
gender of the cheerleaders.
Well, at those college football games, like if you go to Michigan, the Big House in Ann Arbor, which I have been lucky enough to have been, you will see roughly 40 cheerleaders. Roughly a third of those are men.
Oh, really?
For decades. Like, I mean, decades. Because the men have the ability to hold women up, throw them around in the air, twirl them, all that kind of stuff. It's like a marching band, right?
Right.
There are currently male NFL cheerleaders that cheer for other teams that do the same thing. Now, the issue is for a lot of rednecks, maggots, and other people is that these 2 men are gay.
Ah.
And they're very eclectic, right? They're very
flamboyant.
They move like women.
Okay.
Flamboyant. Yes. And when they dance, exactly.
Yeah, it's a look these days. Yeah.
The redneck crowd is very upset by this because they're getting fooled into thinking it's hot. Like they're like,
oh,
wait a second.
They're being aroused by the cheerleaders.
They're being they're being aroused by the male cheerleaders. And MAGA never misses a really good culture war opportunity. Like never, ever, right? And so when a video of Blaze Sheik went viral of him dancing, centered on him with the Minnesota cheerleaders, and NFL teams don't have a lot of male cheerleaders.
Yeah.
So it is different to see, right? Where you go, oh, okay, there's a dude. Like, it's like, whatever, it doesn't matter to me. It's just, Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders will never have men being Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. You just won't. But again, that's deep Texas. So, this is such a stupid op and such a crazy conversation to have with anybody where, the one piece of ammo that you can take into a conversation if you're talking with a gentleman or a female who's just closed-minded and is like, there ain't going to be no gay male cheerleaders on my team. Ain't going to be none of that shit. Remind them that they hate it because they think it's hot. Remind them that they really can't stand it because they're probably fucking turned on by it. Yeah.
I mean, that's interesting. I wonder whether America realizes that they're just being gaslit into, voting Republican based on this, because I don't think they always do. Trump even mentioned this today in his press conference with Zelensky, where he's talking about the problem with why Republicans will win the next election, why Democrats won't, is because of men on women's sports teams. This is the issue that he thinks will drive all these men and all these suburban moms directly to the Republicans, because they can differentiate between, like a male cheerleader. It's a very difficult sport, by the way. Lots of people get injured. It's a very complicated sport. These guys are professional athletes. They are the top of their game. They're being cheerleaders. They're entitled to be there, but Americans are being told that is somehow wrong because the role has somehow always been filled by women, and that in the past, that there's no such thing as a man who could possibly compete against women, or a woman who could possibly compete against a man. And therefore, there is some sort of, they're giving up something of their masculinity. They're giving up something of their own. They're giving away their own identity. They're giving away their own, I don't know what they're giving away, but it's completely flawed. I mean,
dude. But here's the thing: there's been male cheerleaders in college sports for fucking decades.
I know. That's why it's gaslighting.
Yeah, totally.
And yet, Americans are going to be voting. Maybe some, maybe not all, but a lot of Americans will actually choose to vote for the Republican Party because it's protecting their heterosexual kids from, the guys at school that might be grooming them or whatever. I don't know, whatever the fear might be, when it's not real fear, and ignoring the fact that we've actually given up our democracy and handed it over to Vladimir Putin, who's a crazy dictator who's about to destroy the American economy and slaughter a bunch of Americans in concentration camps and a whole bunch of other terrible things. We're about to say, oh, but because of those gays, we will let Vladimir Putin and the GOP do this. Because of that cheerleader, that damn cheerleader, the male cheerleader that turned me on during that last NFL game, that's the reason I'm going to hand over America to Vladimir Putin.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's also, but you bring up an incredible point, but it's also a great distraction, right? Like, how do you make your dumb voter base angry? Tell them that there's a gay guy on an NFL cheerleading team. Tell them that trans people are ruining sports. There are 0.000012% of athletes in the NCAA are gay or trans, like openly trans, right?
Yeah.
0.00. And to your point, we just welcomed the world's most despotic dictator with a red carpet, and we're glossing over the idea, glossing over peace talks, telling Putin he could keep 20,000 kidnapped children, millions of people maimed or killed. And he's like, NFL cheerleaders, trans schools, trans this, trans that. And Americans, are certain subset of Americans, are dumb enough, to your point, to go, that's it.
Yeah.
I would pay $12 a liter for gas, $10 for a fucking tomato.
Yeah.
And I will give Donald Trump all my agency. In fact, he can cancel the election if he just gets rid of that trans volleyball player.
Yeah,
like
that cheerleader.
That's how fucking stupid these people are.
It blows my mind away that this is actually a conversation that can be happening in America today, but this is what's happening, and we're not doing anything about it. I mean, this is a known thing, that the gaslight around trans and the gaslight around gays is what caused the Republican Party to win the last presidency. That is one of the main reasons that was sort of brewing under the surface that made a lot of people vote for the Republican Party.
And the attachment to the idea that those trans or gay people are after your kids, by the way.
Yes,
to indoctrinate
which is
your children.
Just like the furthest possible thing you can imagine. Look,
sex changes at recess at school, he said, were happening. Yeah.
All this bullshit that they keep saying is happening. Listen, as a gay man, I have never watched a football game to its completion ever. And the last thing I've ever been interested in a football game for was maybe the halftime, show during the Super Bowl. That's a good thing to watch. But that's what I watch when it comes to football. I'm not interested in that world, and I don't think many gay men are interested in that world. Maybe some of them are, and they certainly have friends who like going to sports things, who play football, but they play competitively. It blows my mind that America is actually buying this bullshit while sacrificing everything for it. It's like it's the ultimate gaslight, and it's driving me nuts. But
well, as it should. Hopefully, the explanation about a bunch of rednecks and Trump fans. And by the way, there are a bunch of gay dating apps in the United States that have threatened to put out, including Grindr, most importantly Grindr, threatened to put out, if they try to come for gay marriage, threatened to put out all the names of all the married Republicans and Trump regime people that are on the app. They said, you do this, we're
We've
just going
seen
to out
that.
you guys.
But, that's also wrong. I mean, the truth of it is, there's a lot
I
of
don't know. I
straight
like it.
guys who are gay, who do gay things on the side. It's not going to be shocking to everybody to find this out. Maybe that's just the way nature designed it. I don't know. Maybe that's just the way it is, and it's okay. Maybe it doesn't have to be an abomination. Maybe it doesn't have to be anti, our entire history as human beings. Maybe it's just okay.
Yeah.
Some straight guys who are married and like to do things with guys on the side, it gets them off. I don't know. Maybe that's just nature. Maybe we can just accept that and move on and deal with the fact that our democracy is falling apart and worry about how our economy is crashing and that mobsters have been stealing $4 trillion out of our economy every year.
Or
Maybe
that
that's
the DC is a fucking police state. Maybe focus on that. Maybe
yeah,
focus on Trump
real
trying to get rid
things.
of mail-in ballot. I mean, there's important shit here. And if anybody's paying attention to that story, I think it's a great story because you got to push back on it and you have to uncover their intention of why
Yeah.
they're trying to do this. But outside of that, I can give a shit what a cheerleader looks like. I don't go to football games, and I go to a lot. For the cheerleaders, I go to watch football. And people that go to football games go to watch football. So for them to even make a big deal out of it from that perspective, never mind the ratio of men to female, never mind the
Yeah.
fact that male cheerleaders are all over the place in college sports. This is a joke and needs to be treated as such, for sure.
Yeah. Are we number two? We're number two. The Justice Department will start releasing Jeffrey Epstein files to the Congress by Friday, according to House Oversight Chairman James Comer. This comes after Comer subpoenaed the documents last week, demanding records about both Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. The committee also subpoenaed testimony from Bill and Hillary Clinton, plus multiple former attorneys general, including Bill Barr, who testified today. We don't know what he said, but, he's the cover-up guy, so take that for what it's worth. Here we are being set up for what is clearly a cover-up.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what documents Congress is going to get on Friday. I think that you have seen a well-greased machine do everything they can over the past 2 weeks, specifically 2 weeks, with this Trump-Putin summit, with the the cheerleading story, with gerrymandering and redistricting and getting rid of mail-in ballots and telling people they don't have to vote again. And then I don't know if you missed it, but today Donald Trump was like, "Oh, so if there's a war in Ukraine, you can't have an election. Oh, if there's a war here, I guess we won't have an election here." Like he's throwing it all against the wall to try to distract everybody from the Epstein files. So part of me expects his name to not be redacted, be in these documents. And because the other thing that he's done, which is really interesting, is he has spent a great deal of time telling everybody there's a lot of important people in the Epstein files, after saying the Epstein files don't exist, by the way.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of important people. And the stuff about me, there's a clip. If you go to my Substack, you can watch it. The stuff about me is all fake, and Biden did it. Biden and Comey and Clapper and Brennan, they did all that. That stuff about me is fake.
Yeah.
So I think if you look at the nuclear distractions of having a completely pointless rollover summit in Alaska, which you knew would make everybody angry, having peace talks today and bringing EU leaders, who I think the EU leaders invited themselves, and what we've seen in terms of election reform, which isn't election reform. He's trying to steal the 2026 midterms. What we've seen in DC, what we've seen in LA, I think that there's a small part of me that thinks that you're going to see some fireworks on Friday when it comes to Trump's involvement with Epstein. And I don't know if I could be wrong, but I don't know if they're going to be able to outrun that on Friday. Now, the bigger part of me says, oh, he would have greased his name and his likeness and his pictures and the videos from every single aspect. I mean, the New York Times report that said that 1,000 FBI agents went through 100,000 documents and redacted his name for privacy reasons. That's a real fucking story. Yeah. So who knows what we're going to get? Could go that way, could go this way. Yeah.
Look, I mean, the FBI officers did do that. They went through it and they redacted everything. And of course, he's the president of the United States. You don't necessarily want to put out anything that might embarrass him or challenge his his security or safety. But on the other hand, my research on this guy is that it's actually just the fact that he was such a mark. As I'm putting out the greatest heist, which will be out tomorrow, the next episode is the next chapter at least, is all about Donald Trump and how he was literally scooped up by the Russian mob over a 12-year period. How they groomed him, how they flattered him, how they threw women at him, how they threw money at him, how they just made him feel like he's the greatest guy in the world. And he bought every single bit of it because that's what people like him do. He's not super smart. He's not necessarily capable. So he fell for this thing. And maybe that's what he's worried about comes out, is because at the end of the day, they turned this guy into a full-on asset. And I don't think he even realizes it today that he's an asset, which is kind of like, mind-boggling considering the amount of evidence out there. And it's why he believes that the Russia thing was a hoax, and why he believes Vladimir Putin when he tells him that he won the 2020 election when he didn't.
Yeah, that's an interesting take, actually. I like that take. I think that, he's going for broke. Like, he's got nothing to lose. He's 80 years old. He's got congestive heart failure. He is, it's the White House or it's fucking prison for this guy.
Yeah.
Whether it's election interference, the insurrection. I mean, you take your pick. I mean, dealer's choice. Spin the wheel and charge him with something because you can. So the Russia angle I have, which is interesting because the take is, to your point, that he's Agent Krasnov, who's been under Russian influence, billions of dollars through Deutsche Bank, through Russia, get like bailing him out of several bankruptcies.
Yeah.
Knowing his involvement with Jeffrey Epstein, knowing Epstein's involvement with the Maxwell's involvement with the FSB, KGB, Mossad. There could be some stuff in there that sits outside the purview of the honeypot operation. There could be some stuff in there that because again, the ambiguity that he treats his denial with, like everything, is unbelievable, and everything's fake news. Everything's fake. Everything's made up. Everything's a witch hunt. You get him on tax evasion, it's a witch hunt. It's all made up. I mean, dude, like all of his accountants went to fucking jail, and he's like still a tax witch hunt. I'm going to go after Letitia James. So, I mean, it's just he is all in because he has no other choice.
I know, it's kind of scary. This guy's running the free world. This guy's currently running negotiations for ending the war with Russia over Ukraine. And I don't think he can even figure out whose side he's on because he's being fed so much disinformation over the years. The fact that he would even still consider that this is Joe Biden's war, that somehow Joe Biden is responsible for what's happening in Ukraine, is ludicrous.
Yeah.
It's just ludicrous.
Yeah. Did you hear that today? He was like,
yeah,
and went off on Biden. He's even dumber than I thought he was. This is his war. On Truth Social, he basically blamed Obama for allowing Russia to take Crimea. But in the next breath, he's like, but Russia needs to keep it. Like, he's a Russian asset. That's all he is. He's Agent Krasnov, dude.
He is, and that story's coming out on narrative.org, narrativ.org tomorrow. It's worth your time to read. It's a good read.
It's such a great series, by the way.
Thank you. I'm enjoying putting it together, although it's taking a lot of time to actually put all these pieces together. But every once in a while, almost every week, when I finally put all this information into one bucket and I step back and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's it. It was one of those moments this week when I was putting together this whole thing about who he really is answerable to and who the operator and who the mobster is that actually started putting the screws to Donald Trump in 1977. I mean, that's how long this has been going on for, and they've been smart and dogged, and they've done a huge multi-decade operation on America that's led us to this very, very difficult position. Speaking of which, here's the number one story. Trump announced today that he's signing an executive order to eliminate mail-in voting nationwide, claiming during the Ukraine press conference that you can never have a real democracy with mail-in ballots. Here's the problem. The Constitution doesn't allow him the opportunity to do that kind of thing, to determine how elections are run. And even though Trump posted that states are merely agents of federal government and must do what the president tells them, a statement is very unconstitutional ultimately, and therefore he can't do this. But that was breathtaking today when he said that, did I hear him correctly to say he was going to paper ballots? This is what he wanted to do?
Yeah, because there's no way you can stuff a bunch of those in a box, right?
No way.
Yeah. So
bread,
today's
American, no.
Oh fuck! I mean, if you ever see those videos, that come from Russia of a bunch of dudes that run in and they take a handful of ballots and they just shove them in the ballot box. You ever see those
Oh, no, I haven't
videos?
seen that. No.
Oh yeah, dude, legendary videos. And
Okay.
then like a woman goes to put her vote in, and the guy pulls the vote out and shoves his hand in there and sticks a bunch of other paper ballots in there. Russia only does paper ballots. I don't know if you know
I
that.
thought they had electronic voting machines, no?
Yeah. Well, those are rigged too. Yeah,
Okay.
some, but generally speaking, yeah. Um, Listen, Democrats, progressives, people that don't identify with authoritarianism largely vote via mail. Do you know why they do it? I do. Because they're smart. They're like, why would I go down to a voting booth and do this? It's
Yeah.
like 5 miles from my house. Why would I fucking stand in line? I'll vote like a month early. Um, so they're smarter than Republicans. Much smarter. Way smarter. And so because of that, Donald Trump is doing everything he can to remove as many votes against him as humanly possible. There are two pieces to this executive order. One is no more mail-in ballots, which will fail at the district court level. It will fail because each state has different rules for voting. It's been like that for centuries. It's been like
Yeah.
that for hundreds of years. You want to mail in vote in California, you got to send it in by this state or else. You want to mail in vote but in Iowa, you got to send it in
Yeah.
by this state, and you got to send it in with, 2 pieces of ID, photo, whatever. I mean, there's different rules for this stuff. You can't just decide. He said he's leading a movement. If you saw his stupid tweet today or his stupid Truth Social, I'm leading a movement to end a mail-in ballot, and I'm going to get rid of those voting machines because those are corrupt too. The most corrupt elections in the world don't have voting machines, don't have mail-in ballots. And those are corrupt for a very specific reason. And why is Donald Trump doing this at the same time that he's trying to redistrict red states so he can grab 5 more votes that he says he's entitled to? Because he knows he's going to fucking lose in 2026. He knows the House is going to go back to Democrats in 2026. He knows the Senate is going to, it will, if he continues on this shitty authoritarian power grab trajectory, welcoming dictators to the United States, rolling out the red carpet for people that Marco Rubio said tried to interfere in 2022, egregiously interfere. His Secretary of State. There are several different reports, several different commissioned reports. Fucking Putin admitted it. Lavrov admitted it. Oh yeah, no, we tried to. He's rolling out the red carpet for him, and then he says, "Oh, I had a meeting with him." I don't know if you watched the Hannity interview. He's like, "I had a meeting with him," and you know what he said? He's the smartest man I've ever met, by the way. And he said, "I lost because of mail-in ballots." And so
this is my
the
point.
very next. So Putin is deciding how elections in the United States are effectively going to work from here on in.
He knows Trump so well that he knows within a 10-minute conversation in the Beast between the podium and the meeting room for the summit, he can talk him into changing the election system in America. That's how much Putin has Trump in the palm of his hand. He just knows how to play this guy so well. And it's not even a Putin. It could be one of 5 Putins, but they all seem to know how to play him so well that he buys all this stuff hook, line, and sinker and goes out and changes policy directly on that. And that little snapshot of what it's like when Putin actually tells Trump what to do, basically, in those mano-a-mano conversations, is probably happening every single day when Donald Trump gets his marching orders out of the Kremlin. They put little bugs in his ear. They start telling him something. He ruminates on, and then suddenly comes out as policy the next day. But the truth of it is, this guy is an absolute idiot. He's not capable of doing anything. He is being run by remote control out of the Kremlin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's basically an automatron.
I mean,
it's not even
there is. Well, dude, all I needed to do was watch the first 20 minutes of their press availability, where world leaders, even the reporters from Fox News, were like, Putin just ran him over. He just showed up to a press conference, spoke first in his native tongue, not English, Russian, stole all of Trump's lunch money, and then slapped him in the face when he left. That's effectively what Fox News was saying. And everyone else was much less kind about it. And if it's that available to people at Fox News, to the point where One of the Fox News reporters like, listen, I got to tell you, this is live on TV. Can't remember the dude's name. I'll never forget the faces, the ashen faces of people like Caroline Leavitt after that meeting.
Yeah.
Marco Rubio. Everybody was just standing around looking at each other like, what just happened? And what happened was Putin basically told Donald Trump how to conduct the next election, how to steal the next election, and what to do. And everybody was part and party to it. That's exactly what happened. And that's why today's executive order, which will never fly, to get rid of mail-in ballots and Smartmatic machines, that's why it happened. Like, America is being run by Putin, and that is your greatest example, friends.
And that is why Friday was so good. Even though it was so terrible, it was so good. Because if you had any doubts about who runs America these days, you can't have those anymore. I mean, it's very clear watching that for the second time, this other humiliating press conference, that Vladimir Putin controls Donald Trump. It's his puppet. It's always been his puppet. He's created him. He will control him from this day until the day he dies. Mm-hmm. And, the fact that we could see that on TV so blatantly, this man could just show up and be this, be so humiliating to the presidency, so humiliating to America, just take over the entire event. The whole thing was choreographed to show off Putin. I mean, it was so obvious, from the red carpet to the dancing down this staircase to the weird hello to Donald Trump, and then the ride in the Beast where you can give him direction. And then in these 3-on-1, apparently it was just a lecture about what their demands were. And then he storms on stage and does this opening of the press conference by himself.
Calls him the boss.
Yeah, and then Trump calls him the boss, which I was like, well, that is just the truth, man.
Yeah, so, I mean, listen, the illusion, and I think a good place to wrap up would be, the illusion for MAGA. Like, the mask is off for maggots at this point. Yeah. And if it isn't, this is the illusion for them. It's that whole America First thing. There was nothing on Friday, nothing today. There was nothing that put America first. From the fact that Putin spoke first, from the fact that he got the red carpet treatment, from the fact that he listened to Putin and said, yeah, I'm going to reform elections, because, like, he said it on fucking Hannity. Oh, yeah, Putin said this, so this is what we're going to do. I'm like, what about that nationalist pride? America first. Yeah, America. Fuck yeah. Where are those people? Where's the outrage over that whole business? Because
America used to be a country that fought for freedom. It fought for values. It fought for ideals. It fought for every common human being in the world, every general, normal person in the world. That's what they looked up to America for. And now we've become a place that fights for tyrants, that is negotiating on behalf of a tyrant to convince our ally to give up land for a peace that will never happen. I mean, this is the ludicrousness of the situation we're in right now. And hopefully America can wake up now and see what a joke it is. Because as much as you might, Trump is sort of like just an idiot, right? Like, it just comes down to that. But you've got to hate Vladimir Putin. I mean, you can't be a red-blooded American and think Vladimir Putin's a good guy. Mm-hmm. And this is who we're really fighting, is Vladimir Putin. It's time for the gloves to come off, and for Democrats and for everybody else to realize that Putin's in charge, and we have to get rid of him before it gets too late, before it's too late. And you know what? The next election is it, basically. That's the last opportunity. The writing is on the wall for Donald Trump. Hopefully everyone get it together and vote Putin out of power, because that's what really needs to happen.
Absolutely agree. Everybody that's listening, watching this right now, we've got several hundred people that are joining us at the moment. Watch Gavin Newsom. Mm-hmm. Watch him. That's the war. Like that. That's how you fight a war against Donald Trump. Read his tweets, his memes, his pictures. He reproduces pictures. The picture of, like, Jesus standing over Donald Trump. Gavin Newsom's got one of, like, Tucker Carlson, Kid Rock, and Hulk Hogan standing around Gavin Newsom. He put that out. And he's, like, typing in all caps. He's mocking him.
It's so good. Point. It's so good the way he does it.
It's fucking incredible. To the point where Donald Trump has stopped truthing or tweeting in all caps because he's embarrassed by it. Donald Trump takes himself very seriously. And everybody out there to fight back. You can't fight back by going, we're better than this. Like, it, the Gavin Newsom stuff speaks to me because that's for me. I love that shit. I love a good fight, right? That's
he's fighting.
Yeah. that is the only way America is going to get Vladimir Putin out of office.
Yeah.
Is to fight. Be a Newsom. Any way you can, anywhere you can. Do something positive after you're a Newsom. Explain things to people. Research things. Correct the record as often as humanly possible. And mock them mercilessly. Because that is the one thing that'll make this chimp come unglued. Is if you mock him. We're watching it right now. You went after Gavin Newsom in the press conference a little bit today, and I'm like, dude, he won't even say his name now. He's so pissed off at him. Like he was
Terrified of him, probably.
Like usually he was calling Gavin. Well, he's the only guy that scares him, right? In terms of a challenge. And Gavin Newsom is elevating himself, and other state governors are elevating themselves by like Kathy Hochul from New York and a few other governors. They're like J.B. Pritzker, governor of Illinois, is like, where are the Epstein files? You put that on Twitter the other day. And they're mocking him. And I'm telling you right now, you get 300 million people moving in that direction, Putin's out of office in no time.
Him and also Pete Buttigieg, I'd say, is someone to watch for that same kind of vibe, although not as fighting as much, but he's certainly able to, to kick it on with a whole bunch of people that other people don't seem to be able to do it with. And you know what I would like to see is if Kamala Harris can get off whatever it is she's on and just get herself together and actually put up a real fight, because she can actually do it. And, I wouldn't mind seeing a comeback of Kamala Harris fighting for 2028, personally. I know you'll disagree.
Happen. It'll never happen.
But
America's
she can.
too fucked.
She's got the thing.
I know, but she's, it's one thing to elect a black president, right?
Yeah, I know.
It's another thing for America to elect a black female president. It's just, they're too backwards and redneck. I hope so, dude. I would love to see
Maybe the cheerleader. Maybe the cheerleader can be the president.
When Obama won, I remember looking at a guy next to me. I was watching it at a bar. This is years ago. And he won, and I'm like, that looks fucking so great on America right now.
Yeah.
Like, that looks so great on America.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like a nice comment. I'm like, good, fuck the rednecks. Like, thank God, right?
Yeah. I love that day. I covered that day. I remember it for the rest of my life. That is the 5 Stack today. We'll be back tomorrow at 3 o'clock. And, whenever. You're hopefully 3 o'clock tomorrow.
3 o'clock tomorrow. I'm good now until December. Yeah.
Amazing. Dean Blundell.substack.com. A lot of the stories that came on today's show were from that Substack. So read it, subscribe to it. It's worth your every penny if you're going to pay for it. Also worth your every penny if you're not paying for it, because it's also free. And you can check out my stuff at narrative.org, narrativ.org. Greatest Heists Part 7 comes out tomorrow, I hope, if I finish it. And we'll see you tomorrow on the 5 Stack. Have a great day.
Guys.
Bye, Dean.
Bye.